Servus Männer, it's Red Pill Germany again. This video is a follow-up on the video I uploaded recently that was named "The Right Has a Simp Problem" or a simping problem. In that video, which you should check out if you haven't done so yet, I described that there was a very peculiar young lady that said that she is now a part of the new right in Germany, and she sought contact to the AfD, and she was very active on social media also. And it turned out that she was actually just infiltrating the right, and she wanted to make a shocking exposition video where she would then she worked together with a corporate media channel in Germany and with a television channel in order to expose the evil right-wingers in the AfD. And I think yesterday night this program aired in Germany, so that was the shocking revelation. And I haven't seen it, but I have read about the contents, and I want to share that with you today. And to make it brief, to summarize what I think about it, it is all a big nothing burger, if you ask me. And there are some things to be said about what happened for sure, but it doesn't really give us new information, or it's not a shocking revelation. The person who collaborated with her, who made that program, this little film, he worked for almost 2 years on this, I have read. And working for 2 years on that and then coming out with that, with this program, and I think it's a nothing burger, is actually very shocking. So that means the AfD must be very clean if that is all the dirt he could find, even with hidden cameras and with young women that make people drunk and then ask them questions and stuff like that, because this is exactly what happened. And the Soviet Union, for example, was also in the habit of using mildly attractive young, or not so young anymore, women anyway, for 50 or 60-year-old guys. That seems to be attractive, I guess. But using these females in order to make a target person, a male target person, take his guard down or not be as careful as he should normally be. And this is the tactic they used now here. So what was the main meat of this story? It was that in a bar in Berlin, this undercover female, who at that time was still considered to be part of the right-winged social media people, and she was there with a employee of the AfD party. He is like a spokesperson, like a communications manager, a PR guy, basically. And this guy, I don't know how drunk he was, but apparently he is a very sad dude, and he felt the need to appear like a real powerful, a real cool guy in front of that young lady. And this is, I guess, this is exactly what they were hoping for, what they were going for. And this is what happened then. So this guy then said, and this is typical accelerationist ideology, he said that it must get much worse for Germany before it can get better. He said that if the borders were really closed and all that stuff, then the AfD would go down to 3% in the elections again. But if Germany is suffering, if there is a lot of stuff going wrong, a lot of victims and all that stuff, then the AfD does better, which is can't argue with that logic. However, not many people, even in the AfD or on the right, would agree that we have to actually make it worse in Germany. And even if the AfD tried, the AfD has no real political power. So even if the AfD said, haha, we want to make it worse for Germany, yeah, I think that would have no effect because they're not in any government. Yeah? They're not controlling government policy. So Angela Merkel is doing that all on her own, actually, making sure that it is worse and worse for Germany. You don't need a scheming accelerationist AfD in order to do that, obviously. So that statement, yeah, you can criticize that as accelerationism, but it doesn't matter because the AfD doesn't have the power to actually act on these things, even if they want that. Or okay, it's one guy who was like an employee of the party. But I say more about this sad man a little later. But first, let's get the whole conversation down. Then he said that, yeah, we must make sure that, typical accelerationist, once again, that the borders stay open, that more migrants come in, and then Germany will suffer, and then the AfD gets more votes. And then he was asked, yeah, but what do we do with the migrants then? And then he said, well, we can get rid of them later. That's no problem. We can do that in this way or that way. And then he explicitly said, like, to use, yeah, uh, basically to kill them in many different ways, as you can imagine. And he said that it doesn't really matter, but we can easily do it. And that is, of course, yeah, that is of course a horrible thing to say. Um, I mean, and he really meant like to kill them, not to deport them or something, but to actually end their lives. And that is, I don't know, I don't think that anybody in the AfD really holds that position. I heard that you want to deport them or to make sure that they leave or not give them welfare or something like that. But what this guy said, I have never heard anyone say that. And yeah, he lost his job, obviously, at the AfD. And he also left the party. I think not without pressure, of course, or maybe he saw that it wouldn't make any sense anyway to stay in the party after that went public. So yeah, that is the story. So they got one guy drunk, and in front of that hot girl, or in his mind, hot girl at least, he said some stupid things in order to make himself, yeah, look like the tough guy or the hardcore right winger. I have no idea. I have no idea what's wrong with this guy. But if you actually look, if you read a little bit, there is a Wikipedia article about this guy also. I think there is a rather coherent picture that you get of this man. He was working for 10 years for the Liberal Party, actually, in Germany. And when that party was no longer in parliament, or yeah, he also lost his job there. And then the next best thing for him was to just look for a job at the AfD. And this guy, I mean, he didn't study anything worthwhile. I think he studied politics, and yeah, his idea was then that he could work for political parties as a PR guy, as a spokesperson, as a, yeah, somewhere in an office of a parliamentarian. And yeah, okay, so not a very valuable member of society anyway, I would say. And it gets even worse. I mean, he lied. He was known during his time at the AfD, but also before at the FDP, to lie, to embellish, to not stick to the facts. And that is, of course, horrible for a spokesperson. And then he also apparently, I mean, this is all what I got from Wikipedia, okay? So this is not coming from me. This is what Wikipedia tells me about this guy, that he apparently lied in order to get a job once. That means he lied about his grade or something. I read on Wikipedia that they said you need a B or better, and he didn't have that for his diploma thesis. And then he lost that job again after they found out that he didn't tell them the truth in the interview or in his application form or what have you. And so you already get the picture, I guess, we have a guy who wants to make himself look better, smarter, more competent than he actually is. This is a typical sad imposter, so probably of moderate intelligence and not very hardworking. And but he wants to be one of the big guys. He wants to be one of the cool guys, and he just isn't. Yeah? He's either is he too lazy, or he's not smart enough, or he has some other mental problems or something. Yeah? And I'm not a psychologist or psychiatrist, so I also don't like that these technical terms like narcissism, bipolar, and whatever are thrown around like that these days. But I have to say, there is clearly something wrong with that guy. There is clearly something wrong with that guy. I mean, this is not a one-time occurrence. This, if just from this short Wikipedia article, you get a really good impression of what is going on with this person, and he seems a bit toxic. It seems like whoever or if you are around this guy, you will get in trouble, or he will create drama, he will create trouble with lies, with deception, and with these crazy things, or like getting drunk in public and singing World War II songs and stuff like that. Just, I mean, yeah, it's a guy who likes drama, who creates problems, who lies a lot, who tries to make himself look like the tough guy, the cool guy, but in fact, he is just a sad little guy, sorry, with no great intelligence and probably not very hardworking. Avoid these people. This is some general advice from my side. If you see this kind of behavior, avoid it. Get as far away as possible from these people. Okay, and then there are also other journalists or other free journalists who also don't make the party look really good. They get drunk in public and they say nasty things. There's a bunch of problems here. But so what do we have here? So once again, this journalist, I would say, this social media chick, yeah, Lisa or whatever her name is, she is now in a program to. I mean, this is what the article I read said, that she is in a program for those who want to leave the extreme right in Germany. Yeah, apparently, the German government has some kind of program where they give them some special welfare if they are willing to leave the right behind. And of course, they want some juicy information about the AfD, and my tax money goes now to these people. Yeah, very nice. And then you have, as I said already, you have these horrible, sad people, and really none of the people who are involved, not the guy from the TV channel who made this film, not this undercover sexy lady, yeah, and not this lunatic who worked for the Liberal Party and then later for the AfD because he lost his job. None of these people are really good people, I think. This is just a very sad story. I mean, all of these people, it's so sad. This is all I can say. I look at these people and I think, wow, you are sad people. I'm so glad that I'm not you and I have nothing to do with you. Yeah, this is my takeaway message from all of this, and maybe it has to do with the fact that the AfD couldn't get competent employees that you need to run offices, party offices, and like spokespeople, PR guys. This is what parliamentarians need when they get into parliament. Maybe they rose too quickly, and then there were some questionable people who joined their ranks as employees here. Maybe they should have been more careful. And this was my advice also last time. I said you should vet these guys better. Yeah, you should really be more careful, and maybe sometimes you don't have the luxury to be able to choose. I get it. You need to hire staff soon and you need to hire them fast, and you don't have the time and you don't have many applicants because many people are afraid to publicly be associated with the right-wing party. I get it. It's hard, but these are the problems now that this leads to. And once again, I think personally it's a big nothing burger. And here comes the kicker. Yeah, this was not even recorded, or they claim they have recordings, but they didn't play them. They said that they were writing minutes from memory. That means these people, okay, they were drinking in a bar. This guy said something, and then they said, "Oh well, this is how I remember it." So, I mean, who knows if that guy really said that? We haven't heard the tapes, apparently. I mean, I didn't watch that program, but the articles I the articles I read about it, they say that it was written from memory. So after a drunken night, they tried to get this from memory, to write it down the next morning or something. I mean, yeah, so this sounds like not a lot to me for 2 years of research and 2 years of undercover surveillance of a right-wing political party in Germany. But here you have the story. This is what happens if you trust these young, ambitious women who want to use their surgically enhanced body in order to make a living. And this is also what happens if you get in contact with, or even worse, into business with these imposters who studied politics and who lied throughout their entire sad career, lost several jobs because they were giving out fake qualifications into their, or they wrote faked resumes and CVs. This is what happens when you get in touch with people like that. Don't do it. And still, the right has a simping problem. And I got comments under my last video, well, the left has a bigger simping. Yeah, okay, of course. But nobody ever said that the left aren't simps. Yeah? So I don't think I have to say that. But here it is. The left are also simps, okay? But the right, they always try to act so tough, and they're the tough guys. But they have a simping problem. They want to look cool in front of girls, and this is what happens then. All right, so if you have any questions, or maybe you have watched the actual program, if you're a listener from Germany, maybe you have some comments about this story, but this is my take on this issue. If something new develops, I will follow up on that if there is some interest here, but I think I leave it at that. Big Nothingburger and some general life lectures can be learned from this very, very sad affair. And all the people involved, I'm so happy I have nothing to do with them, and I'm very far away from them. Servus, Kameraden.